Tap the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss out on unique stories from 101 India.
Theatre is my safe space, it's my happy place, it's my refuge, it's where I go back to feel like I'm at home. I have now been running a theatre company for 22 years, and theatre for me is, it's my company is like half my age. So for most of my adult life, I've been doing theatre. I think that I kind of grew up in a theatre environment. My father was very actively involved in the theatre, and I remember, as I've been told, I don't remember, but as a child, I spent a lot of time in theatres, in the foyers, in backstage areas. If you're good with the people that you're working with, if you make them feel respected, if you make them feel appreciated, if you know how to handle their egos and their insecurities, and whatever creative conflicts might happen, half your battle is won. So I think that people management is the key to being a good director. Real people. I think writing real people is sometimes tougher because you have to make it feel natural, and that's not always easy. And that's a challenge, and usually it's helped by, collaboration with very good actors. So there is certainly a uniformity there, because there is a thought process, which is kind of binding the country in that sense. But having said that, yes, certainly, if you're performing in Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore or Pune, there are differences. There are things that those audiences are used to. Similarly, there'll be certain cities where you need to kind of be a little careful about the references that you're using. How they say music has no language. I think that if your content is relatable, you can, the language doesn't matter. I think people understand the emotion. Theatre was there before all these mediums, and it lasted through everything, and it's still alive and vibrant, and it's never going to change. Productions that are happening abroad that you get access to because it's now digital, those are fantastic, the way that they are produced. And the fact that we keep attempting these kind of marriages and these hybrid contents is also it's an exciting time, I think, for creators, for theatre makers, for filmmakers. I think it is very critical to kind of get the substance right, to get the content right. When I am writing something or I am getting something written for my theatre group, the focus is on telling a good story and telling a story well. Everything else is extremely important. Of course, what they're wearing, how they're looking, the lighting, all of that, it comes, like film, like theatre. These are departments that contribute a lot, but they are embellishments. At the end of the day, the story and the content is critical, and then of course you've got to take it into a particular level of performance. In India particularly, the thing is that it's not a money-making field at all. It's got limited infrastructure. Even performance venues, for example, we don't even have the infrastructure of so many, affordable performance venues. So in that sense, I think that everyone in the theatre is fueled by passion, because it's not really making them enough money to kind of, run their houses. The good thing is that there has been a certain amount of interest that has been shown by, corporates and festivals where they are doing theatre at a larger scale right now, and which involves, better payments and stuff like that. I think that if you ask anyone from the theatre why they do it, it really is just the love of the theatre. It's just purely fueled by passion and the magic that theatre is. I think it's just it's an addiction. I think it's a wonderful creative addiction, but it's an addiction. I think the rush that you get from creating something like that, and you worked in other mediums, and of course you're creating things over there, but it takes so long and it takes forever to kind of create something, and even longer than to get a response. But here it's such an immediate situation that you come together and you collaborate and you put together something that you've kind of created, and immediately you know how it's being received, and whether it's worked or it's not worked, and that kind of high, I think, is something that you can't get anywhere else. I get a lot of people coming to me and saying that we want to kind of join your theatre group and we want to do theatre. And my first question to them is that, do you watch any theatre? And it's so surprising that a lot of them don't. It's just the concept of theatre that they're in love with. But watch theatre. Like, you have to watch theatre, you have to support it. That's one thing. But the other is, the best way to learn is to watch. It'll also help you decide who you really want to be. I think the theatre kind of helps you decide who you are and what your voice is. I'm really happy that this World Theatre Day we are celebrating with audiences. It's been 2.5 very difficult years, particularly for the theatre professionals, where they've had to kind of struggle and not be allowed to perform for the audiences and do what they do best and try and adapt to other mediums with with varying success. But recently I was performing at the Prithvi Theatre, and during that the capacity of the audiences went up to 100%, and we were actually worried if we'll be able to fill the hall. And the next day we had 2 full houses, and I think that every actor who walked onto stage to perform just took a beat, because they were like, oh my god, there's so many people here, and it just feels so great that it's not half a house and it's a full house, and there are all these people looking at us. And I think that I went and took a photograph of a full house, because I was like, this is it, we're back. And I think that this is going to be a very memorable World Theatre Day, because it's celebrating us coming back to the theatre. So this is a very happy World Theatre Day.